devastating. I mean, it came as a shock because I mean, if you're going to lose, yes, it's an election. You can win or lose, but to lose by that margin, it was just unbelievable. You recall when the MPP won against the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in 2016 with 1 million votes. The thinking was that it was unprecedented, quite historic, and nobody thought that feat was going to be able to be repeated. And so for the NDC to beat us by 1.6 million thereabouts, they're still processing.
I like the way you put it, that you're still processing. Before we go and talk about, what might have caused this defeat, I want to talk about something that happened on the 8th, because we had the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, give a concession speech. Now, I'm on a group where there are some people who are of the view that he considered too early. Others are also saying that it was timely because it calmed nerves and reduced tension. Where do you stand on the two, debate? Was it too early or it was timely enough?
Okay, so the MPP has one of the best coalition systems and structures for elections, not just in Ghana or Africa, but in the world. It's a very robust, tried and tested system. And so when you are collating your results and then you get to the point where you realize that you've done close about 80% of your coalition, most of which coming from your strongholds anyway, and even what is left, when you add them, will not make much of a difference. And then whilst you are at it, you read the news and see the scenes of violence, vandalism, hooliganism, and then you can feel the tension going on around the country, especially when you know that your followers are also holding on to it because they have to protect the ballots at the coalition. I think Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should be hailed for diffusing the tension at the time he did, when he knew clearly that he had lost the elections. Because really, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? What are you holding on for? And so the concession and the timeliness is one of the best things that happened to us in this 2024 elections. To simply reduce the tension, get the MPP followers to know that it's a lost cause. So ignore the provocations, ignore the temptation from the opponents. That was the time when the NDC had invaded the coalition centers and were burning ballot papers in places like Waja, Techiman South, and other places, tearing apart ballot papers and pink sheets in Sawom and Ayeswano and whatever. So absolutely on point in terms of when and how he considered. I don't think he could have done it in any other way than this way. For a man that wants to preserve the peace, sanctity and sanity of our democracy and the safety of our people.
Well, at one point in time, Miracles, would you say that the MPP realized that they had lost the elections? Because I was on television, I was on radio, I followed all your press briefings, and you, at one point in time, you kept saying that the NPP was winning this election. At what point in time did the MPP realize that, Charlie, it wasn't going to work out?
That was around 3:30 a.m. So you recall our last press briefing was somewhere around 12 a.m., a little over 12 a.m. And even that press briefing, the last one that I did, it was on the back of a press briefing that the NDC had done and called on their followers to invade the coalition centers. So actually that press briefing, that final one that I did, the focus was to, first of all, highlight the recklessness and the complete needless call by the NDC on their members to go to the coalition center. Because we are the view that the way our electoral processes are, we don't need such hooliganism and such chaos and anarchy at the coalition centers. So that was the main focus. But that was around a little over 12 a.m., in between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. And at the time, we had done just about, I think, 55% of our coalition at our coalition center. And at that time, we couldn't have indicated that the NDC had won. In fact, at the time, I think Dr. Bawumia had about 51.7% than the former president or the president-elect at the time. And so it was important that we quickly address the recklessness of the NDC's call and also get our followers to be a bit more vigilant at the coalition center. Then around 3:30 a.m. thereabout, we did about 85% of our coalition, and that was the time we knew that the election was over.
Miracles, at this point in time, I'm curious to know, what do you think caused the